Welcome to Bastard on a Bike. I'm EP. I am that bastard. So, today, I want to introduce you guys. We're down here in the lovely basement. And this is Bronx. But today, we're going to talk about this bad boy. I don't know what this bike is, but I call it the 312 bike. This bike was gifted to me many years ago as a birthday present. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I have an idea. I think it's a retro spec, but I'm not sure. A few telltale signs is the fork. Look at the frame. I've looked at millions of retro specs, and this does look like a retro spec. I don't know. It doesn't have any telltale signs. I checked the serial number. None of it really checked out. But I can look at it and I can kind of tell that it's probably a retro spec or somebody's low-end single-speed fixed gear. So my plan to do with this one is I'm going to strip it and paint it. I got 23Cs on here. Rolling single speed, blah, blah, blah. So my plan is to, for one, I love this bike and I hate this bike at the same time. Last year, when I had this bike, it frustrated me so bad because it kept getting flats. So I ended up getting new tires on there, new inner tubes, and all that stuff. I don't know what I'm running. Something Excel Pro something. They're decent tires. They're inexpensive, but they're decent. They get me through what I need to do. This is a workhorse type bike. It was my everyday bike. This bike has gotten me through a lot of things and a whole lot more. I've ridden all over this city. I probably got, 300 miles on this bike. I don't know, maybe that's a little bit much, but I got a lot of miles on this bad boy. I rode this bike exclusively for years. That one and my Schwinn, that I call the 76. We'll talk about that one more later. So my plan for this bike, though, plain and simple, not doing too many upgrades to it. All I want to do is I want to paint it. I want to try to in a better bottom bracket because the bottom bracket is always an issue. This summer we had to change the bottom bracket because it had a lot of play in it. It always has a little play in it. Too much play, you can. This has got a new bearings in the bottom bracket right now, and it's still got play in it, and it's crunchy and it hiccups sometimes. It jams or something every once in a while. So the plan is to change out the bearings or put in a new bottom bracket. One of the crank arms got bent because my dumb ass, you can tell, you can see it. You can see how bent it is. It's bent because I was using the bungee cords in the van, but it's bent and it's sexed up. So anyway, the plan is to change out the crank arms and the bottom bracket. That's probably the extent of the upgrades that I'll probably do, with the exception of these bars. Check these bars out. I had never seen any bars like this before I got this bike, but I plan on changing the bars out to a little bit wider bar. These are some interesting bars. These are those really short arrow flat bars. Like I said, I love and hate this bike at the same time. I like the bars because they're, narrow and arrow, but they get uncomfortable. You can see how high I got the damn seat post, but it's a little too small for me. But this bike is very nifty. It's very nimble. It'll go. It's really quick on takeoff, and it's a hoot, man. This is a good, it's a light bike. I would have to say it's probably about 20 pounds, maybe less, but it's a good bike, and it's a workhorse bike. I don't want to get rid of this bike. I'll keep this bike because it's a beater at this point. And saying it's a beater is not saying it's a bad thing. It's just saying it's a dependable bike that you don't worry about getting stolen. And as it is, it's a beater. Once I paint it, though, it's probably going to look a lot nicer. But we'll see. Fine. It's a little too small for me, but I don't know. As a bike rider, I may not be as as much of a snob as most people because I don't fuss over things. I just adapt to shit. So I've adapted to this bike, but I can't do it too much more. I need to make it a little bit nicer. The black label bike fits me like a glove, and I love it. This bike is a little too small for me, but I can rock the fart out of this bike. We can roll all day long. I love this bike, and I hate it at the same time because it gives me issues. More issues than a bike that's set up like this should give you. I hit the pedal, broke the bottom bracket, so that was the first thing I had to do was actually replace the bottom bracket and the crank arms. So we'll see. I'll probably leave the crank alone. Probably got a regular setup of 46 16 or 48 16. It's decent. I might even flip it and try to run this bike fixed. I'm part of what I'm going to be doing with my channel is overcome some fears. And one of my fears is that fixed gear. Love it and fascinated by it, but have never ridden a fixed gear bike. I'm a single speeder. I will always be a single speeder. I'm thinking about changing my whole life to single speed. Now I'm going to start to tear this bike down, and I'll invite you into it. Me and Bronx. Right, boy? He's a good boy. All right, we'll see you guys in a minute. Me and Bronx. We're going to break this bike down and get it ready for paint. I ain't got no paint, but we're going to break it down. Peace and love, y'all. We'll see you in a minute. Got the prime coat on. Gonna do my first coat of paint right now. Got the all new, all city crank set. 46. Bike. I just installed the bottom bracket. That's a dope. Pretty standard. You know what I'm saying? All is well. Seem pretty decent. Check out the paint job. That's what it is. It's got some kind of cap or something I got going on. Anyway, this is phase one of the bike. I'm gonna take all this bullshit off of here and take some proper pictures. Anyway, phase one complete. We on something. Bastard on the bike. Bottom bracket in. This bitch. Kicked off, but quite quick. Finally put the the rims back on there. Took all the paint off. Put a clear coat on. Finally just put the chain on, which still looks a little bit off. We might have to work on that still. Yeah, it still looks off. So that means something's not right. Anyway, we got the chain guard. We got the chain ring and new crank arms on. Front wheel on. Bull horns on. Saddle almost on. We're almost there. But the chain looks a little weird, so we're gonna work on that a little bit, but we're almost there, G. One step away, a couple steps away. Put the pedals on and whatnot. We're getting real close. Anyway, updates. Faster on the bike. This is what I'm calling the white paw right here.